There was a beggar living at a railway station in a city. He used to fill his stomach by begging from the passengers traveling in the trains that came and went. One day, while he was begging, a tall man dressed in a suit appeared before him. He thought this person looked very wealthy and that he would surely give me good money if I asked him for alms. He started begging from that tall man. The tall man, seeing the beggar, said, "You always keep begging. Do you ever give anything to anyone?" The beggar replied, "Sir, I am a beggar. I always keep demanding from people. I have no stature to give anything to anyone." The tall man said, "When you cannot give anything to someone, you have no right to demand either. I am a businessman, and I only believe in transactions. If you have something to give me, then I can give you something in return." After saying this, the tall man sat in the train and left. The beggar began to think about what the tall man had said. The words spoken by that tall man struck a chord in the beggar's heart. He began to think that perhaps he wasn't receiving much money in alms because he couldn't give anything in return. However, he was a beggar and not in a position to give anything. "But for how long will I keep begging without giving anything to others?" After much contemplation, the beggar decided that he would give something in return to anyone who gave him alms. But now he was pondering the question in his mind, that he himself is a beggar. What could he give in return for alms? It had been 2 days since he started thinking about this, but he had not found any answer to his question. On the 3rd day, while sitting near the station, he noticed some flowers blooming on the plants around the station. He thought, why not give people some flowers in exchange for the alms? He liked this thought and picked some flowers from there. Now he went to beg on the train. Whenever someone gave him money, he would give that person some flowers in return. People happily kept those flowers with them. The beggar would pick flowers every day and distribute them to people in exchange for alms. Within a few days, she realized that now many more people were begging from her. He would pluck all the flowers from around the station. As long as he had flowers, many people would give him alms, but once the flowers ran out, he wouldn't receive any alms either. This has been happening like this every day now. One day, while he was begging, he saw that same tall man sitting in the train who had inspired him to give flowers in return for alms. He immediately approached the person and, while begging, said, "Today I have some flowers to give you. If you give me alms, I will give you some flowers in return." The tall man gave him some money as alms, and the beggar handed him some flowers. The tall man liked this very much. He said, "Wow, what a surprise! Today you have also become a trader, like me." Saying this, the tall man took the flowers and got off at his station. But the words spoken by him once again sank deep into the beggar's heart. He began to think repeatedly about what the tall man had said, and felt very happy. Her eyes have started to shine. He started to feel that he had now found the key to success that could change his life. He immediately got off the train and excitedly looked up at the sky and shouted, "I am not a beggar. I am a businessman. I can also become rich." People saw him and thought that perhaps this beggar had gone mad, and from the next day, that beggar was never seen at that station again. But 6 months later, at the same station, 2 men dressed in suits were traveling. When they saw each other, one shook hands with the other and said, "Did you recognize me?" The other person said, "No, because, according to me, we are meeting for the first time." The first person said, "No, think again, we are not meeting for the first time, but the 3rd time." The second person said, "I do not remember when we met the first 2 times." Now the first person smiled and said, "We have met twice before on this same train." I am that beggar whom you advised during our first meeting about what I should do in life, and during our second meeting, you told me who I really am." The second person smiled and, astonished, said, "Oh, I remember you. You are that beggar whom I refused to give alms once, and the second time I bought some flowers from you. But today, where are you going in this suit? And what have you been up to these days?" The first person replied, "Yes, I am that beggar. But today I am a large flower trader, and I am going to another city for business." After pausing for a while, he spoke again, saying, "In our first meeting, you explained to me the law of nature, which states that we only receive when we give something. This rule of transaction really works. I have realized this very well, but I have always seen myself as a beggar. I never thought beyond that, and when I met you for the second time, you told me that I had become a trader. Now I had realized that I was not actually a beggar, but had indeed become a trader. I had understood why people were giving me alms, not because they were giving me charity, but because they were paying for the value of those flowers. Everyone was buying my flowers because where else could they find cheaper flowers? In people's eyes, I was a small businessman, but in my own eyes, I was just a beggar. You made me understand that I am a small businessman. With the money I collected from distributing flowers in the train, I bought many flowers and became a flower trader. The people here love flowers, and their preference has made me a large flower trader today." Both businessmen were happy and got off at the station together, discussing their respective businesses as they moved forward. This story teaches us a lot. The tall businessman in the story understood the law of give and take very well. All the great businessmen in the world have succeeded by using this life principle. He also told this formula to the beggar. The beggar adopted this natural law, and its effect began to show clearly in his life. He changed his thinking, and his life changed. This story tells us that if we change our thinking, we can achieve anything. If we keep thinking of ourselves as small, we will always remain small. To become great, we must change our thinking and think big about ourselves. The essence of the story is that success lies hidden in your thinking. Awaken your self-esteem, elevate your thinking, and see how you reach the pinnacle of success.